Hey guys, welcome back to the DREZ podcast. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've done this. Thank you very much for watching. Nobody knows we're doing this. This is basically a secret episode, a reboot, I guess, of DREZed. So we got some people in, which is great. Yeah, so this is Neon from Clownfish TV. This is the Clownfish gaming channel. I think we're going to do gaming news again over here. We'll do those live. It will become a podcast. And then on the main Clownfish TV channel, we will probably put our interviews and stuff that we do. We have people over, so thank you. We got some people coming in. So this is recorded live. If you're hearing the audio version of it, you can find the live versions of these podcasts over on Clownfish Gaming. So yeah. Hey, GPA is in the chat. We got some people in the chat. Not bad. We got some people. I saw like one person waiting. I'm like, you know what? I think we're gonna start streaming again. We're gonna try it on the gaming channel. Then we might start doing it over on the main channel. Me and Geeky like we used to do. I know a lot of people are like, hey, we missed you guys doing it, but we've had a lot going on in our lives over the last 3 years. Over the last like 3 years. But yeah, so here's the deal, guys. DREZ is basically gaming news, tech news, internet stuff. I'm going to kind of throw a bunch of stories into the mix here that maybe they don't warrant their own video. We're going to talk about some stuff maybe we don't think is right for the main Clownfish TV channel. So we're going to have more, tech news and internet stuff. And yeah, we got people in here. Check it out. Check it out. I don't want YouTube to get my money. Yeah, YouTube takes a cut. That's the thing people don't realize. If you want to support the podcast, you want to support the YouTube channels, you can do it either through YouTube, which they take like, 30% or something like that? Or you can go to clownfishminus.com. And we're working out a schedule for that to get more Minus podcast content up for you. We actually have a bunch of them out there already, but thank you very much. Let's see here. Hey, we got people coming in. Look at that. I'm shocked. I'm shocked people actually showed up for this. I didn't really plan it. James, thank you very much. Didn't have to do that. Glad to see you back to gaming. Retro gaming, please. Yeah, guys, we actually have a ton of retro gaming machines. We actually have actual arcade machines. I'll have to take you guys over to the game room. I think it's out there. I think we have a video. I did, I think X-Men and Spider-Man. We got a big 4-player unit over there. So, I mean, pretty much any retro game you guys can think of. And I'm actually thinking about doing that. The kids are doing, they're doing a lot of the new games, the Zoomer games. But I am definitely an old head. So anything that's kind of, retro or retro adjacent, that would probably wind up over here. So yeah, we're hoping to do that. Good morning, everybody. So let's get into it. Guys, if you're not subscribed, go to the DREZ Substack. We're going to be posting some more news over there, trying to bring things back for 2025 because everything is really freaking weird right now. And I want to talk about why things are weird right now in the video game news space. Part of it is just the way the system is. Let me get this pulled up here. The way the system is right now. And we've talked about this on the main Clownfish TV channel that the deck is definitely stacked against you. If you are a content creator, if you are definitely in, this particular space, the geek space, most of the pop culture websites, news websites out there are owned by a handful of companies. One of those companies is Valnet, and they own The Gamer and Screen Rant. And man, they own a whole bunch. I don't even know all the channels they own. Let me see here. I think we had it in the article. Yeah, Game Rant, The Gamer, Extra Life, Dual Shockers, Hardcore Gamer, Open Critic, also Screen Rant, also Comic Book Resources. And there's a huge scandal that broke out in the last couple of days that some of their writers are like, yeah, we're treated very poorly over here. And they have a blacklist. I guess if you complain about Valnet, they will blacklist you. They have over 400 people on their blacklist, apparently. So yeah, they basically dominate the search results. So that was a challenge because we had multiple websites. We still have websites. We have piratesandprincesses.net, which is Geeky's website. And that was kind of what started all this. Like we started that podcast. And then we have, the Clownfish TV site. We've got some other sites we don't really talk about. But the news space is very, very hard right now. We've been talking about a lot of people getting laid off, especially in video game journalism, and so we're going to try some different things. I'd like to continue to do this, but even YouTube, man, we're getting all kinds of corpos coming into YouTube, and they're eating into that space too. It's crazy. Yeah, so we got some comments here. Was this My Arcade? Yeah, they have a lot of really cool stuff coming out here. So I'll get to some comments here later, but thank you very much for coming in. Again, for those of you who are confused, listening to the audio version, that's, we have people in the chat. So record before a live studio audience, like Happy Days. So hopefully I don't jump the shark. But yeah, so Valnet, they got into a big scandal. And we talked about this at length. I think we're one of the first YouTube channels to talk about it because we actually have experience and we have friends that have experience in this space. And it's bad because it opened up a whole can of worms. First, it was a bunch of freelancers complaining, and that turned out that they were basically running sweatshop conditions. And it turns out that the people that started Valnet are actually the founders of Pornhub, and they took their Pornhub money from the sale and they plowed it into, no pun intended, but they plowed it into this nerd news network, because at the time it was 2010, 2011, nerd news was very popular, and they would go around and they would buy all these websites up, and if you had any traffic, if you were any threat to Valnet, they'd throw money at you to basically take you out of play. And so they gobbled up like every major independent media outlet, and that's why all these media outlets are basically in lockstep. So they kind of destroyed the independent nerd news scene, and now they're getting eaten. And now we've got Google on top of that with AI snippets. Hello. Yeah, so it's been absolutely crazy. So we're gonna try doing Substack, I think. So go out to drez.substack.com, and you can read more about the Valnet scandal. Actually, if you go out to the main Clownfish TV website, we have a lot of info on that, and it's quite the story, guys. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy, but everything is going to be different. 2025, I think we're going to see a bunch of websites like Kotaku. Well, they're getting sued now too. They're getting sued by the former Activision CEO, but I think we're going to see a bunch of these websites implode because they're not sustainable anymore. No, I'm not a cartoon character. It's so weird. Everybody's like, I don't know what you guys look like. I'm like, our faces are out there. Like, we used to do the con scene for years. I've been on live streams before. I've been on other people's podcasts before. I usually show my face because we have a lot of people that, they think they can get away with saying and doing stuff without showing their faces on the internet. And it's like, no, I'm not. This isn't 4chan, right? So I am an actual flesh being. And yeah, I did not misrepresent myself. I actually look very similar to the cartoon character. But thank you. Yeah, the Collider situation. Guys that created Collider. Yeah. We have some friends. We have some people that have actually had experiences with them, and it's crazy. It's just an absolutely crazy situation, and they're paying people very low. Actually, the rates that they were talking about, and the articles from the Wrap originally, but the rates are actually lower than what, like CBR, I've heard $3 to $5 an article. That's what these people are getting paid, right? So, hey, thank you very much. You did not have to do that. Let me see. Operation One, thank you. Good to see you again. Did you get my email, Instagram message by chance? I actually don't check Instagram. I'm going to be honest, dude. I don't. I asked if you're looking for guests for the podcast, published sci-fi thriller book. Thought you'd be interested. Yeah, we might reach out to some people, some guests here. We're trying to get our bearings and live stream. Like, we used to live stream. People don't realize. Thank you very much for that, by the way. People don't realize we used to live stream all the time, and we stopped doing it when we moved, partly because for a while we're in a home studio before we got the office set up. And it was hard because we had the dogs barking, the doorbells ringing, the phone ringing. And it was like, yeah, this isn't going to work, guys. This isn't going to work. Here, I'll take a couple questions. What are your thoughts on Elmo? My thoughts on Elmo is that he ruined Sesame Street. Sesame Street was way cooler before Elmo. Nothing personal, but I think he lowered the age of Sesame Street, and I don't think he deserved to be choked. But it was funny. Here, Jelani, the Saverings. What? Thank you. Didn't have to do that. What do you think of the next Xbox being more open, like the Steam Deck? I think if they do it even 50% well, PlayStation's in trouble. Yeah, I think that's where they're going to have to go with it. We've talked about this before. I mean, Xbox as a console is kind of like dead right now. Like, it's basically just a cheap, and I'm going to get all kinds of crap for this, is a cheap gaming PC that you cannot upgrade. And since they have so many of their games on every other platform, I'm like, what's the? It's basically like Roku. Like you can buy Roku as a TV, you can buy Roku as a stick, you can buy it as a box. But who's buying a Roku box when like every TV has it built in, right? So that's about the content. So then Xbox becomes like a brand, a platform. So thank you. You have to do that. GPA is on. The cartoon is actually him. The thing in the window is advanced animatronics. Yeah, that's it. I don't actually exist. I died on the way back to my home planet years ago. So yeah, let's see here. I'm trying to catch up. I'm not used to live streaming, guys. So let's talk about some actual game news. These Assassin's Creed Shadows numbers. Have you seen these ridiculous numbers? They're like, we have 1 million players. We've got 2 million players. Players, sales. What are the sales numbers? They're not being very forthcoming with those sales numbers, are they? And a lot of people think it's because of Game Pass. A lot of people think it's because of codes. And look, we did a whole video about this yesterday over on the main Clownfish TV channel. This is all smoke and mirrors, I think, because Ubisoft is looking at getting sold. They're looking at selling off their assets. They want to get the best possible deal they can get. And if Assassin's Creed Shadows, or Assassin's Creed rather, the brand is going to be the flagship of whatever it is they're doing, then if that brand is damaged, then they're not going to get as much money. I mean, that's basically it. So I think they're going to do as much, because this one counts, because they can say, well, Star Wars Outlaws failed because people don't like Star Wars. Well, people don't like Assassin's Creed, and that's your IP. That's a you problem. You can't blame Lucasfilm. You can't blame Disney for that. So this is coming from what? Forbes. Good old Paul Tassi. I liked Paul Tassi. Then he got really weird about Star Wars and Disney and stuff. I don't know where he stands on this. He said Ubisoft bragged about Shadows getting 1 million players on launch day. And this morning they've said that the game hit 2 million players across all platforms. I think the peak, we'll go out and I think Grum's actually had the peak concurrent players on Steam is like 60,000. Now, to be fair, Assassin's Creed, a lot of people play it on console. So, it outperformed Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey, not Valhalla, albeit that was the record setter for the series, and who knows, there's still time. Previously, insider reporting was that Ubisoft was shooting for at least Odyssey numbers, and it seems likely to hit that. That's not great, though. They're betting the farm on this game, and they spent a lot of money on this game. Everyone's going to have an eye on concurrent Steam numbers. Shadows has 55,000 concurrent players on Steam at 9:30 a.m. That was this morning. Seems possible it will pass Odyssey's 62,000 from 6 years ago. If not today, then tomorrow, perhaps. Valhalla is not a good comparison point because unlike Odyssey and Shadows, it launched on Steam a long time ago. Yeah. For console, we only have PS5 data, as Xbox data lags for several days. On PlayStation, Shadows is currently the number 2 most played game in the US, behind only MLB The Show 25, but ahead of permanent hits like Fortnite, 2K25, FC 25, and Call of Duty. It's on PlayStation, though. It's pretty positive. Ubisoft wouldn't be throwing out these numbers if they weren't pleased with them. Yeah, they would. It's all from a certain point of view, right? They totally would. I'm reminded. Okay, here it comes. So actually, Paul Tassi seems to be in the camp that thinks this is kind of. I'm reminded of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, a huge flop, a top console seller with 90,000 Steam concurrents, but something that ultimately turned out to get just half the numbers that EA wanted. Remember, they spent I think it was $250, $300 million on this game. So if it flops, that's it for Ubisoft. They're going to have to do something. Between these numbers and the initial player reception, the game currently has 4.76 out of 5 stars on PS5. You don't get much better than that. It's hard to find anything even a little bit concerning. Well, I don't know, guys. I don't know. A lot of these same, again, I don't have any inside knowledge or whatever, but this seems to be the same playbook that they were using for Dragon Age: The Veilguard, where YouTubers and Twitter users were pulling up some stats and being like, hey, this is not a win. This is not really the win you think it is. And then it turned out that the game was actually a huge failure and everybody got fired. I'm just saying. Let's see here. Grums has some more stuff here. He has Assassin's Creed Shadows has peaked at Saturday at 60,000, well below Dragon Age Veilguard. Yeah, and that was a huge failure too. And I don't think it cost as much. And Japan hates it. Like the prime minister, I don't know if you guys saw that, the prime minister of Japan called out this game and said it's culturally insensitive and what the hell. Whole bunch of copies of it. This guy reminds me of The Last of Us Part 2, where there was like a ton of copies. They were on sale. And then they tried to say it was a huge hit. I mean, it did sell very well for them, but now they're saying there's probably not going to be a part 3. So, I mean, these games are too damn expensive. That's the thing. Like, you can sell really, really well, but the games cost too damn much, and it's a risk, and they take too long to develop. So if it takes like 5 to 8 years to get a game out, you don't even know if the brand's going to be relevant by then. So that's what's apparently going on with Assassin's Creed Shadows. We're going to watch it. The only reason, like, I don't care one way or another. I think it looks dumb. But the only reason I'm paying any attention to it is this could be the undoing of Ubisoft as we know it. But I think a lot of gamers are just walking away from, the AAA titles. We've talked about this before. So let's pop in here real quick and make sure I got everybody. Samuel Henricks. Thank you very much. Didn't have to do that. Is your boy Zach going to return to comics or cry about YouTubers? I don't know. I don't know what's up with him. There's definitely something going on over there, but I don't watch his stuff anymore because I watched him for comics news and he just talks about YouTubers he doesn't like, including us. So I'm like, good luck with that, I guess, but I don't know what's up with him. I'll tell you the truth. I really don't pay much attention to inner YouTube drama. I really don't. So Nymphonomicon, is that like is that like a dirty book? I don't know, the book of the dirtiness. AC Shadows has next to no one playing it on Steam. It's selling like freeze-dried dog shit physically. So where are those 2 million Ubi claimed are playing their game? That is a good question. We don't know. Just trust me, bro. Trust me. That's what we're selling, guys. That's what we're selling. AL, hello, AL. You've been putting out a lot of videos at night when I'm asleep, so I watch in the morning. A lot of people think we're like the morning show now, like between Geeky and I. We got the whole like Good Morning America vibe going on there. But yeah, a lot of people said they listen to us in the morning, which I've noticed too. Like if we put videos up later at night, usually it's by the time I get to edit them. Because if you're talking about news, you gotta wait for news to happen, right? So by the time I get around to editing them, they go up at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. But then a lot of people say they watch them in the morning. So I guess I'm happy that we're part of your morning routine. So thank you for that. We'll get this in here. Mailer D83. Thank you. Didn't have to do that. How can D Plus, Ubi Plus, Game Pass, and other subscription services actually make money when new content doesn't add subs? Why keep following that model? I don't think they're going to for much longer. I think it's kind of like we talked about at the beginning of this video that all these news outlets, they were basically bankrolled by venture capital and by ad revenue, and that's run out. And it's the same with the streaming services and these, like, they think there's a long game. Like, if we invest up front in 5 years, we're going to make money. And then when it comes around that, hey, we're 5 years in, we're not making money. Oh my God, now we got to have a fire sale. Really, all they need to do, all gaming needs to do, is go back to making games that players want to buy, make them cheaper. I think you need to make them a lot cheaper. And you can make them cheaper by not having 30,000 people working on a game. Like I was watching Stutter and Craig from Side Scrollers had the credits for, I think it was, Assassin's Creed Shadows. You had the credits, and it was like 2 hours of credits. Who needs that many people working on a game? Because you can actually put a game out there with a couple of dozen people, and it can outsell, $300 million game. It's absolutely insane. But the best part of waking up is clownfish in your cup. It depends on what's in that cup, I guess. So let's see. What else are we going to talk about here? Let's talk about McDonald's. You guys like McDonald's? I like McDonald's. I go to McDonald's every day. I'm serious. Like I'm like I've reached the old man phase of my life, the middle-aged old, where I get my coffee at McDonald's every day. I do that same thing. I go get the newspaper and I get the coffee. And I used to kind of make fun of Geeky's dad because I'm like, that's like such an old man thing to do. Like you go get the newspaper, you go get the coffee, you go talk to the other guys. And I'm at that point in my life right now where I'm like, I gotta have my coffee, I gotta have my newspaper every day. That's what I do. So I go to McDonald's every day, and I'm on a first name basis with like everybody that works there. It's so wild. Um, but they're doing this Minecraft collaboration, and I gotta tell you, I'm loving it. Yeah, because they're bringing the McDonald Land characters back, and they've been doing this with Grimace. I think is really cool. Since we're speaking about mornings, right? We got Birdie the whatever she's hawking the hot cakes. They're not pancakes, they're hot cakes. Just like their shakes are not milkshakes because I don't think they have actual milk in them. Whatever that McDonald's slime, they've got Ronald's slime in them. Have you seen how they make the milkshakes? The ecto goo, I guess, from Ghostbusters was made out of that stuff. So, but yeah, they're doing this Minecraft collaboration. I think it's pretty fun. This movie's gonna make a lot of money. I don't think it looks good. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think the Minecraft movie looks good, and I'm tired of Jack Black being in everything and being himself in every movie. But it's gonna make a lot of money. It's gonna make a lot more money than Snow White. Um, but they're gonna have Nether Flame sauce. We need Mac Tonight. We need to bring Mac Tonight back. He was absolutely horrifying. Like all the TikTok kids. Actually, you have TikTok to thank for the resurrection of the McDonald Land characters because I guess Grimace became a big thing on TikTok a couple of years ago. So now they're bringing everybody back, except for Ronald. So I was talking to my daughter last night, and apparently I didn't know this, and I don't know if this is, I can't fact check myself here, but apparently Ronald McDonald was banned during the Great Clown Scare of 2016 when people were tying the red balloons all over the place because of it. And that was like a whole thing on YouTube. Missed the Fry Kids that look like sentient pom-poms. Yeah, they actually had, like I'm a huge M83 fan. And if you go look at the album cover to Junk, they had like the Fry Kids on it, but they had like one eye. One had like one eye. I think the other had three eyes or something. But this is gonna make a ton of money, guys. I mean, it really is. Like, I think the movie looks terrible. I think it does, but like sometimes you look at a movie and you're like, objectively, this looks really bad, but it's gonna make a ton of money, right? I mean, it is. It's gonna make a lot of money. See, make sure we got everybody here. Okay, get caught up. Yeah, that's a weird thing about being live is like having to keep up with the super chats. I always feel really bad. And you guys don't have to give us money, but I'm not going to say no, but you don't have to. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. We talked a little bit about this. I'm just going down the news list here. Actually, no, we'll talk about this one because we didn't talk about this on Clownfish TV because it wasn't really worth a whole video. But I guess it's game adjacent since we talked about Hogwarts Legacy. J.K. Rowling was throwing shade at her co-stars on Twitter. Did you guys see this? Did you see this? So there was a tweet going around said, "What actor or actress instantly ruins a movie for you?" And she said, 3 guesses. Sorry, but that was irresistible. It was. Hey. Hello. Yeah, so of course she's talking about plausible deniability. She is probably most likely talking about the trio from Harry Potter, Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, and I think that's kind of funny. Now, I don't think that the cast of the new show is going to look anything like this, but yeah, they like totally threw her under the wheels of the bus. I mean, my personal feeling on the whole Rowling thing is like, you probably should say your piece and then maybe just for your brand's sake, maybe just lay off of Twitter a little bit. Just lay off a little bit. You're allowed to have your opinions, but you're out there like constantly whacking the beehive. But she's got life's infinite money cheat code turned on, Rosebud or whatever. She's got that turned on, so she can say or do whatever the hell she wants. And she gets she still gets brand deals. You can't cancel Rowling. I mean, there's no way. We just got those goldfish crackers, and they're pretty damn good. Those butterbeer goldfish crackers. Been trying to find, let's see here. Been trying to find DREZ and Side Scrollers podcast. We can't find. Are you on the Pidcast 20 RSS? We are. So what is going to happen with DREZ? I think we have a Clownfish TV audio version. And every one of our podcast episodes, every one of our videos over on Clownfish TV, gets turned into an audio podcast, which is out on Spotify. And the same thing's probably going to happen here, except I think we're going to roll them all into one feed because I don't think we need to have, because if you're listening to Clownfish TV, you're probably listening over here too. So I don't really see the point, and it's all news anyway. Yeah, Seth says Harry Potter's too big to fail. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and tell you the truth, like normies don't pay attention to any of this internet drama. They really do not. It has to be really egregious, like somebody killed somebody or something. We covered this yesterday on Clownfish TV. I don't know if you guys heard, but Mike Merles, who is the lead designer, I guess you say creator. I bet he didn't really create D&D, but he did create 5e, and he came out and said that he's tired of safe spaces. He's tired of safe spaces in games, and kids today don't want safe spaces in games. He said he's at GaryCon. I guess that was this weekend. GaryCon was this weekend. And he said, I think the idea that younger gamers want a safe game, whatever that means, is utterly wrong. Participation trophies are there to make the parents feel good about themselves. The kids know it's a show. Yeah, it's all show. Kids don't want safe spaces. Actually, it's older millennials that seem to want safe spaces, and I think they're losing the kids in the process. And I talked about this yesterday, and this does tie in with video games because we're seeing more and more Gen Z get into retro games, and we see this too on our side with the gaming, the game room, that we have a lot of kids that want to play older games. They don't want the complicated. You have to buy the $70 game, and then you got to buy all the skins and the downloads and the DLCs, and the game's not finished. It's like, no, you just pop the cartridge in and go. Pop the disc in and go. And a lot of people miss that. But same with D&D. It's not the same now. But yeah, he said the meaning of play comes from the sense of risk. We role play because it's a place where we can experience risk, loss, and defeat without enduring tangible harm. We're wired as humans to role play to learn how to navigate life's twists and turns. He sounds very wise. Whether it's a dead character or failure in whatever context the session presents, the bigger the threat, the more meaning play has to us emotionally and spiritually. Removing it from the game turns it into time-wasting slop. This guy is starting to sound like he's all right. No, he's right though. I mean, if there's no risk, if you can't die in a game, if you can't win a game, I mean, they have cozy games, but that's what they basically turned D&D into is a cozy game. And there's a place for that. Right? I mean, if you just want to turn your brain off and, farm or something, I mean, there's a place for that. But most people play games because it's competitive. Most people play games because there's stakes. They want to win. They want to beat, if they're not beating other people, they want to beat themselves, not like that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to beat your score, you want to beat your time, you want to do a better run. And it's competitive. Gaming has always been competitive, and now it just seems like it's really not competitive anymore. And that's even in the video game space. Everything has to be safe and cozy. And I remember all the gaming journos complaining about Elden Ring. I'm like, bitch, that's what the games used to be like when I was a kid. They were all hard. You ever played Ghosts and Goblins? Damn. Let's see, what's it? Not all right. I identify as just right. AL says, and this is true. Pandemic and lockdown really hurt the kids. Yeah, it did. I have these kids in high school now, and so many have behavioral issues. Yeah, I think that is a huge issue. A lot of people right now, everything is broken. I keep telling our kids that like there's the before times and then there's the after times, and like it really feels like the pandemic and the lockdown was because for decades we had everything just kind of. There's like an ebb and flow, but this is like a hard, like, okay, life stopped for like 2 years and then it started again. And when it started again, it wasn't quite the same. And that's what it feels like. And all these businesses, all these models that worked before the pandemic, a lot of them are breaking now because we're starting to realize that they were never really, sustainable to begin with. Right. So yeah, this is a random question. Caleb says, what was the MCU and DC movies that you enjoyed? Surprisingly, with DC, I like Shazam quite a bit. And I actually did like Blue Beetle. I think Blue Beetle, I think they did themselves dirty with the marketing on that one. This is another kid. We talked about this, like anti-marketing, because they made such a big deal about the politics and the political angle of it. A lot of people didn't go see that movie, but it wasn't bad. I think the problem with the DC movies is they're trying to build this universe and they're not quite there yet. I think my favorite DC movie is probably the first Wonder Woman. I thought that was actually pretty good. So yeah, no, this is entirely true right here. It's like trying to restart a stalled car in a snowstorm. Yeah, it is. And the longer you leave it set, the harder it is to get it restarted, right? So this is kind of a random one. We talked about McDonald's. Let's talk about Starbucks. This guy burn his junk off. Well, he didn't burn it off, but he had hot tea burns at Starbucks. Did you guys hear about that? He got $50 million because they handed him the cup carrier, and I guess the tea fell out and it spilled into his lap, and he got 50 million bucks. So his attorney said the injuries were permanent and life changing. Yeah, I bet. The jury determined the Starbucks employee failed to secure the hot drink properly in a takeout tray. That happens. I've had that happen before too. Like, again, going to McDonald's. I love the people at McDonald's, by the way. I do love you guys. But we've had some people not put the cups in securely, but I usually get iced coffee. So yeah, I haven't had anything burn off, but I see a lot of spilled drinks outside the drive-through window because I'm guessing people, probably drop them or whatever. Then they had these really flimsy cup holders and they just like ripped, and that was the whole thing. Then they had to double up. And anyway, Starbucks says we disagree with the jury's decision that we were at fault for this incident, believe the damages awarded to be excessive. Yeah, $50 million. I mean, unless this guy was like on OnlyFans or something, making millions of dollars a year with his bits, that is pretty extensive. The burns were so severe, the guy had to get skin grafts and multiple surgeries. Now, yeah, $50 million. Starbucks can't really afford to lose money at this point. They're closing down a bunch of stores. His hot tea burned him to a T. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. What else we got here? What is this? I haven't even looked at this one yet. This is how are they not fault? It's their employees' fault. Yeah, I watched the video. Of it, and you can find the video out there. And you can see like they hand him the cup holder, and it looks like she didn't, secure it in there, and then it just kind of like falls into his lap. But they're also like it's really hot. And this happened before. It's happened multiple times. Like McDonald's got sued back in the 90s. They made a whole Seinfeld episode out of it about was it Jerry or Kramer got burnt? I think Kramer got burnt. I don't know. And he hired a lawyer that was like it was like O.J. Simpson's lawyer to represent him. But all right. So what's this one? Let's look at this. It's a pleasure to talk to you, Neon. I wish you had more live streams. We're working on it. We're gonna do more live over here. We used to do live gaming over here, and I did live news over here before, but nobody came over because I didn't really announce it. And we didn't really have a set schedule. So I guess you have to tell me, like, if you want us to do more live streams, what time would you like us to do them? Like, what time frames? It's a very crowded space, but we're literally the only YouTubers, I think, in our vertical or whatever that don't live stream very often. But it's like, I mean, seriously, you go to YouTube and there's like 45 people streaming at point in time. So I guess it's just like, jump in there and do it, and you guys pick what you want to watch, right? And hopefully you pick us, but if you don't, you don't, right? That's an us problem, I guess. We have to be better. Comicbookmovie.com. Doom the Dark Ages director Hugo Martin responds to woke ages online criticism. I haven't seen this one yet. Do Marvel versus Capcom 2 streams. Yeah, we should do that. Okay, so here we go. Doom the Dark Ages director Hugo Martin responds to woke ages online criticism. Generally speaking, the term, oh boy, subscribe, ads. Generally speaking, the term woke is now being used by people on the internet that think something is too politically correct, but now it's seemingly being used to brand something one doesn't like. Well, so is alt-right. So was, chuds or so was, misogynistic. So was racist. So was homophobic. I mean, anything I don't like is Hitler or woke, I guess. When Doom the Dark Ages had a new gameplay trailer released a few months ago, the gaming community went wild. There was a lot to love about it. I actually thought it looked pretty good. Personally, I thought it looked pretty good. People don't, difficulties. Okay, so they have difficulty sliders in Doom. Well, they always had difficulty options in Doom. Okay, so let's see what the problem is here. Difficulty sliders aren't new in the gaming world, but they're new to the Doom franchise. The idea that you can customize the difficulty of the game to your liking. They always had difficulty settings in Doom. That's like the first thing you pick. Okay, well, you can choose how much. Okay, you can choose how much damage projectiles do, how fast they are. It's okay. So this is like, it's not like hard, hurt me plenty, whatever the options are. Okay, gotcha. You can make the game easy, somewhat difficult, or control breaking Souls like that will send you into fits of rage. Apparently, people don't like that and they think it's woke. So the director Hugo Martin responds in a new video on X. Doom the woke ages. I've heard about this. I've seen the videos. I didn't, I wasn't even paying any attention to this. I really wasn't. All right. Here's the thing about that. First of all, I don't agree with it. Really, when you think about options like the sliders, the policy was it has to be good for both the white belts and the black belts. If we're going to allow you to slow the game down, we have to enable you to speed the game up. And that was a really good policy for everything. So everything in the game, you can either make things super hard or super easy, or just find that sweet spot. What we see with the sliders from our best players in the office is that they do a lot of surprising things. You would think it's just crank everything up, but that's actually not the case. You say it really enhances that three-dimensional shmup. That is an awkward thing to say. That bullet hell experience, that's kind of what classic Doom is. Yeah, classic Doom is a three-dimensional bullet hell, weaving between those slow-moving projectiles that hit really hard, and that's what creates a maze, and that's what encourages the player to move. It's really the projectiles, and that's what we focused on the game. So we're talking like slowing it down like the Matrix. Yeah, this is crazy. South Park had the best difficulty slider. Okay. Let's see. Is that it? He just said it's woke to me. No, so here's what's going on. This kind of goes back. Actually, we can bring things full circle here. This kind of goes back to what Mike Merles was saying about D&D, where there really is no consequence in games anymore, right? Like most games now, if you want a casual option, they give you a casual option. So there are two schools of thought here. One is you paid for the game. If you want to beat the game and you want to beat it on pussy setting, and you want to put it on the easiest setting possible, then that's your prerogative. You've dropped $50-$60 on the game. But the other thing is, like, it's hard to get the full experience of the game or call yourself a gamer, I guess, if like the only way you can beat the game is to have all the cheats turned on. So I mean, I get it. They're trying to make, and this comes back to this whole conversation about accessibility and what people expect from games. And I think personally, I think games are recreational, but historically video games have been about sucking the money out of you. I mean, let's go back to the basics, right? The arcade machines. Kids, they're like, why are these arcade machines? Why are the games so hard? I'm like, because you're going to put more quarters in, right? It's like gambling. You're going to put more quarters in. And the thought process, even with games like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or The Simpsons is, yeah, you can continue whenever you want to get more life, but you've already invested $20 in this game. You're going to pump another $10 in quarters into it to beat the game at that point. But historically, it's been about the challenge. It's been about, being better. It's been an esport, even going back to the very beginning, freaking Space Invaders, Galaga, Pac-Man. So yeah, there's always been that competitive bent to games. And with single player games, you're competing against a computer, you're competing against yourself, and people want that. And when you're dealing, when you're dealing with a franchise like Doom, that's a legacy IP, I think I think you need to respect the roots of that IP, and people have certain expectations of it, but at least they're not turning it into a cozy game. At least it's not, let's decorate our room in hell, and which one of these demons can we date? Rookie says, do you remember games back when you had to play easy mode and then the game tells you had to play the harder difficulties to play the other stages or get the real ending? Yeah. And I mentioned Ghosts and Goblins. Ghouls and Ghosts was very much like that too. Ghouls and Ghosts was a kick in the balls because I did beat that game when I was a kid. I had it for Sega Genesis. And I bit the control. I think I've told the story before. I bit my controller. So somewhere out there is a Sega Genesis 3-button controller with my teeth marks in it because I got so mad at that game I bit it. And but I did beat it, and then it's like, oh hey, guess what? You got to go through it again with the princess weapon now. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? but it was actually easier second time through. But the thing is, it was all about memorizing patterns and getting it down in practice. And they used to do that. Like, okay, we'll give you like the first 3 levels you can practice. And then, when you're ready for beyond pussy mode, then you can play the real game. Now you're an adult. You can play the real game. We're taking the training wheels off. I think that's probably the way to go. But again, people are dropping so much money on these games and they cannot afford to have people not buy the game because they're like, I heard it's too hard. But then again, Elden Ring sold like crazy. So who knows, James Dunn says 4-player Gauntlet 2 may be addicted to challenging the old arcade games. Yeah, and that was a quarter sucker, right? That took a lot of quarters. Twisted Metal did this. Yeah, a lot of games did back then. I used to rage quit before it was called rage quit. I never really like Ghouls and Ghosts was the only game that like broke me because back then, like, look, those games were expensive. Retro games, they were $50-$60 back then. Like in modern money, we're talking damn near $100. And I paid $100 or almost $100 for games before. Phantasy Star 4 was like $100 when it came out because it had, what was it, 24 or 32 megabytes of, it was a big game. It had a battery save and all that stuff. Like kids today don't know how good they have it. Like, you don't know. I had to mow a lot of lawns. And I had to do a lot of chores to buy my game. So when I got a game, it was a big deal, and I wanted to beat it because I wanted to feel like I got my money's worth out of it. Now people just like buy the game, play it for like an hour or two, they get bored, and they move on to something else. Yeah, it's crazy. What's this one here? All right, here we got some on BioWare makes a return to Dragon Age the Veilguard with a surprise PC update 5 hours ago. I thought they were done with this crap. They just threw them a lifeline. They laid everybody off. But Games Radar says the previous patch made sure it sounded like the famed RPG studio was ready to move on from the game, as it promised future updates would only focus on game-breaking bugs and such. But to everyone's surprise, BioWare yesterday updated the PC version of the game with a weapon pack. Well, that was probably planned. I mean, everybody's gone, right? Everybody's gone. So, let's see here. The Rook's Weapon Appearance Pack brings new cosmetics. There's a joke in there somewhere. New cosmetics to the game is available as a freebie for the Steam version of Dragon Age the Veilguard, alongside a discounted $32 price tag that's been slashed by 50%. This game just came out, 6 months ago? We're looking at the future of Assassin's Creed Shadows right here. You can only claim the pack if you already own the game or planning to buy it before April 8th. There's no word on whether or not it'll drop for PS5 or Xbox. It's a few weapons, but the addition of any new Veilguard content feels like a slight miracle considering everything that's happened to its developers since launch. Remember when they said that gamers were making this up, that the sales were great, everything was fantastic? Everybody wanted an RPG where you could role play through your parental issues because of your gender identity. I mean, everybody wanted that game, and now it's just not. It's like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Oh, I got a story. Yeah, PlayStation. Okay, James Dunn says PlayStation 1, Star Ocean second story, you had to play through multiple times to unlock the voice clips. Yes, to get the harsh saying. That game I got frustrated with. I'll tell you what happened. It has been years since I touched it, but I got to the ice cave because I remember it had like wampas in it or something. And I got there and apparently I just wasn't good enough for that cave, but I couldn't get out. So there's a save spot in the cave, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get out of the cave because I was too weak. I don't even know how I got to that point, but the only game save I had, and that was what taught me, like, you need to always have 2 game saves before the dungeon and during the dungeon, or at like a critical point in the game. Like, you never just have 1 game save. And I learned my lesson with Final Fantasy VI too. When you split your party up, I had all the weak ass characters in one party and I couldn't go any further. That happened to me in Star Ocean. I had to start the game over again. I was so pissed. And I didn't start it over again right away. I think I moved on to something else. Cause I used to go through, like, when I was younger, I used to work a lot. I worked like 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week. Sometimes I worked at a newspaper. I was doing web development. I was doing all this stuff. And like the only thing I did for fun, cause I didn't have cable TV, is I played JRPGs like that. So I'd literally go from like one JRPG right into another. And so I'd buy them on sale, like at EB. I'd buy used copies of them, and I had like a backlog of especially PlayStation 1. I had a ton. I had like everything. I had everything. And Geeky actually got me Lunar 1 and 2, the box sets with the amulets and everything. Those were pretty cool. But yeah, so I think I moved on to something else and I came back to it. I was so pissed. I was so angry about that. Caleb here says, this is off the beaten path here, but sure. Give a score out of 10, Infinity War and Endgame. Infinity War is way better than Endgame. I'd give Infinity War like a 9 and Endgame like a 7. That's my personal ranking here. So what else we got? Oh yeah, D&D. We got a couple more quick stories here, and then we're gonna wrap it up, guys. This was kind of a test, and I really appreciate you guys are seeing that we are live. I was kind of worried about that. D&D suffering more layoffs as Wizards cuts their virtual tabletop staff by 90%. I don't know if you guys followed this on the main Clownfish TV channel, but yeah, they're going all in on the virtual tabletop, which is basically a video game. And they did this before, apparently, with 4th edition. I wasn't really paying attention to D&D with 4th edition, but they went all in on digital. And then they're like, yeah, nobody wants this. And then they had to lay everybody off, like 90% of their staff. Absolutely insane. And you never find out about it from the company, right? You always find out about it from the people on LinkedIn or on Twitter bitching about getting fired. But everybody's getting laid off in this space. So speaking of layoffs, let's talk about this here real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. I missed this. This is video game union organizers' new tactic for workers. Don't unionize. Wait a second. Wait. Video game union organizers' new tactic for workers. Did I read this headline correctly? Don't unionize. Well, we've been telling people not to, because what happens is when you cost more, you put a huge target on yourself, right? And then because people are trying to get that buyout, and I don't blame them. I mean, I don't blame you if you know your company's going to lay off and you can unionize and you can get that parachute, give yourselves 6 months of comfort. I would probably do it too. But we're getting to a place where as people lose money, unionizing is going to be less and less viable because they can't afford to pay you, and they'll just outsource it or AI it or something. So this is weird. Okay, so this comes from where? The Hollywood Reporter. The predominant union organizing video game workers in the U.S. has announced an initiative that will attempt to change industry conditions outside of traditional legal framework. On Wednesday, the Communication Workers of America announced the launch of a new direct join organization, the United Video Game Workers-CWA, at a labor organizing panel at the GDC, the Video Game Developers Conference. That's the same one where a bunch of game developers were screaming. Did you ever see that video? They're just like screaming into the void because they're all getting laid off. So I'm like, yeah, let's all unionize and get laid off faster. The group, not a certified union, but something like a large-scale organizing group, is open to a wide range of workers in the field across employers, from full-time employees to contractors to former staffers who've been laid off. The group's first initiative will be to circulate a petition addressing recent industry workforce cuts, while it is later planning on producing a worker bill of rights that will demand specific workplace standards. Good luck with that. You're not in a position anymore to be, unless they're really overworking you or treating you badly or something. With AI and outsourcing, you're not really in a position to demand the moon. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I'm sorry for that. I hate to be that guy. Everybody hates when we say this. The news comes after years of the CWA pursuing traditional unions at indie and AAA video game studios and noticing some victories. Still, the wins have been modest. Since 2020, the CWA has unionized disparate groups of workers at Sega, ZeniMax QA, Tender Claws. That's my furry name, Tender Claws. And Raven Software QA. Its efforts have organized around 6,500 workers across both tech and video games to date, the union claims. In an opinion piece published in a CWA zine circulated at GDC, Code CWA senior campaign lead Emma Kinema argues that with President Trump in the White House, the Department of Labor and National Labor Relations Board are under attack. We can no longer expect to rely on traditional legal frameworks to build worker power and to improve workplace conditions. These companies are not going to, one, it's hard to get a union acknowledged to begin with, right? If you're not even a real union. And here's the thing, if you're not going to do it and you've got, a list of like, we're all in agreement, we're not going to work for this company or whatever. It's like somebody will. They will, and if you're not a real union, there's no line that's getting crossed. So she points to the sit down strike of Flint, Michigan, where auto workers between 19. Wait, it's okay. The sit down strike of Flint, Michigan in 1936. In 1936, when workers staged a major work stoppage that eventually led to the union recognition for General Motors. In 1936, we're looking at that and being like, yes, back in the 1930s, before unions were widespread, this tactic worked, so let's do it in 2025. They didn't have AI back then. They couldn't outsource to India. I'm just saying. Oh, God. So there we go. And that's going to happen. Like, look, as everything kind of implodes, we're going to see more and more people desperately trying to unionize, which is actually going to hasten the demise, I think, of a lot of people's careers, because a lot of people that look to unionize, in my opinion, just my opinion, because I've been through this whole thing before because I'm old. In my opinion, it will hasten your demise. It's going to put a target on your back. You're probably going to be out of work a lot faster because they're going to be like, yeah, no dice. We've got lots of options now. So my advice to you is either do it yourself or become actually invaluable to the company. Not, I think I'm invaluable to the company, but actually invaluable to the company. And you can point to the money that you've made the company. In that case, you've probably got some job security. Maybe. Yeah. Let's see. Make sure I got everybody here before we wrap it up. And thank you so much, Grizzly Nightmare. You did not have to do that. Off subject, but the price increases on collectible figures are crazy. Yeah, Hasbro especially, and I heard Mattel's laying people off too. But like the collector line, I got a bunch here. You should see the other walls. But collector figures are very, very expensive. Transformers are incredibly expensive. I mean, what I'm seeing are like $10, $15 action figures not that long ago are going for like $25, $35 now. $35 for like a basic Transformer, and they're not that great. They're not that great. So I've been getting more Beast Box. Geeky's actually been buying me a bunch of Beast Box. I love these guys. Hold on, let me grab one here. So what do we got here? This is the, if you guys can see it, the Axolotl. Like this one's pretty cool. Geeky bought me this. I got a whole bunch of these little guys. So I've been buying more of these. They're 5-2 Toys makes them. And that guy's pretty cool. And then we got like, where's the battle? Got like a battle turtle. And this one reminds me of Geeky. She loves sea turtles. And it's got the red on it. I think it's pretty cool. I love these guys. But yeah, they just like turn into little boxes. This guy turns into a tank. And he's a lot of fun, but they're built so much better than the Hasbro Transformers now. So I've been buying more of these lately, unless it's something really cool, like if it's like a collectible thing, like, oh, here's some rare Japanese, like Star Convoy or Star Prime or whatever the heck they're calling them. I'll probably wind up picking him up, but like the stuff at Walmart's crap. The kids line for Transformers is pure trash. They're really bad. I mean, they look like dollar store figures. I'm not even kidding. They're like $20. Like the Transformers 1 line was awful. And all that stuff is just like sitting on the shelves. So yeah, guys, check out the main Clownfish TV channel for more pop culture news, for movies and cartoons and all that stuff. Might be doing a video today. Warner Brothers, there's a rumor that Looney Tunes is going to get sold completely. Oh, here we got another one here, guys. Operation One, thank you again. You have to do that. Please look for my email. I sent you when you can. Feel free to get back to me if you're interested. Yeah, I will do that. I'll look for your email. I don't know how we're going to do this yet, as far as, like scheduling guests and stuff, but I really appreciate it for sure. And a lot of our email, that's the thing too. People send us email. It gets spam-related, a lot of it, because we get a lot of email. We have a couple different accounts, and it's just we get a lot of email, and sometimes I'll find stuff in the junk folder. It's not supposed to be there, and we have a pretty aggressive spam filter too. Like we have a lot of the really scammy, because we had people send us like all kinds of threats and stuff through like these like freebie accounts and anonymous accounts and stuff, and so we just filter. The mail server that we have just filters a lot of that stuff out anyway, and we don't see it. It goes into a folder called unsolicited feedback. That's the name of the folder. That's where all the junk mail goes. Anyway, so I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. Again, go out to Clownfish TV. This channel, what we're gonna be doing with Clownfish Gaming is we're gonna be doing the gaming news over here, like I did now. Probably old man gaming or something. We'll do more retro games or more games that are geared toward people that want retro style games because it's big now. It's like, well, okay, I can play old man games. I can do old man games. The kids are going to be doing their game players streams and also their gaming content. And both of them are very good gamers, but they, play different kinds of games, but they are funny. You guys need to go out and watch their videos. If you haven't watched their videos, you need to go watch their videos. Those guys are like really, really funny. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Very much. I didn't expect to get anybody. We had about 100 people on for not promoting it at all and just dropping it on you guys. Yeah, I'm a human. I am. I'm actually out there. People were like, "You hide behind the cartoon character." I'm like, "No, I've been out there for years." Like Geeky's out there too. I don't think she's gone on camera on streams, but like her picture's out there. Like we're out there. We're not hiding. Because my thing is like, if you're trying really hard to hide, because so many people want to do the YouTube thing, but they don't want to actually go on camera. They don't want to actually use their real, some of them aren't even using their real voices. They don't want to use their real names. It's like, dude, it's not hard to figure out who anybody is, for one thing. And two, it's like, you want all the benefits, but you don't want everything that goes with it, right? And it's like, no, I'm not. The only reason we did the cartoon avatars, to begin with, I'll tell you real quick here before we wrap up, was because we were actually working with Disney at the time. And we basically put an extra layer of protection. But Neon's the name I used when I actually worked on some Disney projects. It was either Neon or Tom Pratt. That's my name. It's in the damn title. Who gives a crap? I don't care. Sometimes we did stuff that we weren't credit for too. But yeah, it wasn't hard to figure out who we were. We just didn't want, we put an extra layer of protection there. But that lasted for about the first 2 years of the channel, and then we had a big kerfuffle there. AL, yeah, I've seen you guys. Yeah, we've been out there. I mean, for years. Like, damn. I mean, it's so weird. And people are like, I just figured out who you guys were. I'm like, you must be really low IQ because it's really not hard. We actually tell you guys who we are in the videos. But there we go. So anyway, sup, nerds. I am very nerdy. Yeah. I am. People just got that memo. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to come up with a schedule. Again, leave a comment. What works for you guys? You would like more? Do you want a morning show? Do you want an evening show? Seems like everybody does evening shows, but if you want an evening show, we can do it. We're going to be doing more streaming over on Clownfish TV too. Probably not as much as over here, but it'll probably be a longer show. So I'm going to try to keep everything here, 30 to 60 minutes at the most, and just kind of give you an overview of everything that's going on. So thank you very much, guys. It's greatly appreciated. It really is. Make sure I got everybody here before we wrap it up. I think I did. So thank you. We'll talk to you guys later. Please subscribe. Goodbye.